Welcome everyone, today we have 10 new glitches in Super Mario Maker 2. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video. We have these awesome spinning launchers that are like pinwheels that we create using the black hole glitch. It is very visually stunning, so make sure you check that out. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All those things will push our videos out to more people and help grow the channel. Without further ado, let's go. In co-op mode, when you go into a pipe and exit it on the other side and get a power-up, or hit a checkpoint in this case to get a power-up, lag frames will happen in the game where the game slows down, pauses a little bit, and your player 2 will appear in the top right of the pipe for a split second. Try to pay attention to the top right of the pipe as I exit this one and get the checkpoint and get a power-up. Luigi will appear for a split second before he exits the pipe. Did you catch it? Check out this situation here. We are Toad in a dry bone shell with a spiky helmet on. We're trying to stay as fortified as possible because this empty gap right here is very dangerous. If I jump onto it like that, you're going to notice that I can jump across on the thin air. This right here is a little bit of a bridge. It's a little bit of an invisible bridge. If I jump out of the dry bone shell, you'll see that it does hurt me. It is dangerous. We do not want to touch the invisible bridge. And in fact, if I don't jump correctly, I can fall underneath it like that. And now, am I stuck? Kind of. It's more dangerous than anything. Now, if I jump along the side of the wall, I'm safe. If I jump up between two blocks, I get hit a little bit and I can jump out. So what is going on here in this situation? Let's unpause to find out. We're going to multi-grab here through this little gap, and you're going to notice that there are munchers that are upside down. These are munchers that think that they're inside of a pipe, aka they're also black holes, because we can stack these guys however we want to. Well, if I start the scene from right here, you're going to notice these munchers go back into the invisible pipe that they want to be in. So yes, those are munchers. How would we accomplish this kind of a feat? This is through the use of a black hole. Let's go ahead and delete this and bring a black hole over here. So how we're going to create that little situation is by drawing a pipe upside down like this and putting a big muncher into it. Now that we have the muncher in it, we're going to copy the pipe and put it in the top right corner of the thwomp, the black hole. The muncher is going to be in the black hole, but the pipe is outside of it, slightly. So when I undo here, the pipe is going to delete itself and the muncher is going to stay in the black hole. Now I can drag the muncher out of the black hole and then delete the muncher that's in this pipe over here. Or really, just delete the whole thing altogether. And this is what you saw in the previous little segment, is this muncher that thinks it's inside of a pipe that goes back into a pipe. If it has enough room, it's actually going to expand out and show itself. Like that. However, if I place it close enough to ground, so if I place it right here, it won't actually come out of its quote-unquote pipe. It'll stay in its pipe, and it stays as an invisible platform / death barrier. Upon seeing this scene, you might be wondering what the heck is going on here. This big Bowser can be placed in this little gap. We're going to pull him out of here so we can show you what's going on. There are these two slopes right here that are going to produce hyperspeed and push Bowser up. The sideways spring is going to assist that, and Bowser is going to go through these red blocks because he doesn't care about red blocks, and he's going to get stuck at about this location, which is pretty interesting because it happens pretty quickly. Let's place him in there and show you what I mean. Start the scene. So he gets pushed right through those red blocks and ends up in this little position. In this position, he cannot really move. He does try to run out of the situation, but he cannot really do too much. So that's pretty cool. Here we have a similar situation as the previous one with Big Bowser. This time it's with Big Boom Boom. And these red blocks are organized a little bit differently because his hitbox is a little bit smaller. But this result is possibly much cooler. Because what's going to happen here is Big Boom Boom is going to get stuck inside of this cannon, and it's going to appear that Big Boom Boom here is spitting bullet bills from his mouth. As he runs at us furiously, his dust cloud completely hides the bullet bill launcher, and he spits bullet bills from his mouth. This is really cool. We're going to grab a helmet because this situation is going to get a little sticky. When I jump on the first stack, nothing really happens unless I duck. If I duck, the one way is going to push me into the sideways springs, pushing me around and possibly damaging me. Let's get another helmet. Now, The second stack, the one with the Munchers and the Spinies, that one is dangerous too, but not just for the ducking. So I can land on it like this and I'm fine, but if I start running around, the sideways springs push me again. And again, they damage me. That could be a very interesting troll over to the right because you don't know what's going to happen. Now, if I jump all the way to the other one, the one with the POWs, this time I'm fine unless I duck, and when I duck, I get soft locked if I duck at the wrong location. So if I'm right between two POWs, I totally get soft locked. However, if I'm over on one POW like this and I duck, I will end up clipping one side or the other. So if I'm close enough, I'll actually grab a POW like that and then clip out of it. So these are all different dangerous situations that you could find in a level, especially a troll level. Here's an interesting little glitch where this Spiny right here above the on-off switch is going to travel to the left as it falls off the ceiling because Toad is going to approach him. When he falls off the ceiling and starts traveling to the left, he's going to hit the note block and the on-off switch even though he's not traveling to the right. He must corner clip the on-off switch or something because that ain't right. Check it out. Let's start the scene. So, why does that happen, Nintendo? Now we're going to go over the process of putting a block, like a question mark block, on a rail that thinks it's in a pipe, which means it's going to be traveling along the rail, and if we break it, it will respawn again and continue traveling along that rail. So this is a pretty cool little glitch here. This is like the Game Genie technique that we did in previous videos. However, it goes about it a little bit differently because we can't actually get a block on the rail with the original Game Genie tech. So let's go over it right now. Step number 1, we grab a rail, put it down like that, copy it. Now we're going to put a block in one rail, like so, put an enemy in another one, multi-select them and delete them. Grab a rail and draw 2 right to the side of the black hole. Undo 3 times. Here we have a block and a tomato on these 2 rails, and when we pull these rails out of the black hole, the block and or tomato will transport over to those rails. Let's place a pipe down. We are going to put the tomato into the pipe and then put the block on the rail that had the tomato. And the block will transfer over to this pipe, which is normally not possible. But we go a little bit further. The rail that the block was originally on, we're going to copy that and pull it down. Now what we have is the block on a rail that thinks it's in a pipe. You can delete all of this stuff right here. You can move the block, and you can draw this rail to be longer, to be wherever you want it to be. Let's start the scene. You're going to see the block spawn out of the pipe and continue traveling along the rail. And if we break it, it spawns again. This is a pretty interesting little thing, although the only thing you can really put into this question mark block is a coin. Believe me, I've tried. Still, very, very interesting. It also travels behind the rail, which is cool as well. So here we have a hammer and then a crate over top of it. When I start the scene, this crate is going to fall, and because of this hammer, for some reason, the crate is going to continually go into and out of this pipe. It seems the hammer pushes the crate back into the pipe when it comes out. Now I'm going to put this boomerang flower underneath the hammer. This time the crate is going to go into this pipe and then it's going to go back into this pipe over here. So this time it's going to repeatedly go into and out of both of the pipes. Check this out. So because of one more power up, the crate decides to go into both. Strange. Here Toad finds himself into an interesting little position. I need a key. I also need an on-off switch to get hit. So I'm going to take this shell and I'm going to throw it up there onto the right of the spring. It's going to get stuck in that little corner. By hitting this question mark block, it's going to allow the shell to clip through the spring, hit the question mark block over to the left, which has the key, and then hit the on-off switch, which releases me into the key door. Just like that. So that Beetle can clip right through that spring with this little setup. So here our goal is going to be to make a silent note block. How is that possible? Is it possible? You'd be surprised to find out that yes, a silent note block is very, very possible. If I start the scene right here, you're going to notice that the note block makes noise every time the power-up falls down onto it. Alright, let's put a block above it. What changes? Nothing, it just goes faster. How about if we put a semi-solid underneath it? Alright, same result pretty much. What if we put a block open up above this frog? For some reason, in this situation, the note block makes no noise. Whereas in every other position, every other configuration, the note block makes noise. Here Toad finds his way into a boot, a stiletto, a red stiletto, and a whole bunch of cannons. And as you probably know, you can stomp on these cannons to kill them. Let's do that right now. Weird. So when you stomp on these cannons, it will actually rotate at the axis where the skull is. Depending on where I stomp it, so if I stomp it on the right side of the cannon will actually go counterclockwise. If I stomp on the left side of the cannon will go clockwise. So you might be wondering, what in the heck is going on here? Well, if I might quote another YouTuber, it's surprisingly simple. So when I go to the bottom of the scene, you see a whole bunch of launchers that are inside of clouds. When I start the scene, you're going to see that they're also inside of clown cars, and they're all going to crush the clown cars. Because the launchers, apparently, when they smush up against clown cars, they crush them. So that happens when you're underneath the scene, but it doesn't happen when you're above the scene. How would you get a launcher inside of a cloud and also a clown car? Well, we're going to use the Game Genie technique with the black hole. Let's show you how to make this. So here we have a black hole. Let's go over the Game Genie technique real quick. Place a Lakitu down, because we're going to use a cloud in the first part of this. We're going to copy it and place a launcher into the cloud. Just like that. So now we have a launcher in the cloud and an empty cloud. We're going to delete this cloud and take this cloud, copy it over into the thwomp. Undo twice. You're going to see that this cloud comes back, and when we drag this cloud out of the black hole, the launcher will teleport over to this cloud. Now we want to place a clown car. Put the clown car down, take this launcher and put it over into the clown car. Delete the bottom left, copy the top left, delete all the rest. Here we have a launcher that's in a cloud that thinks it's in a clown car. So let's set up the scene so that it doesn't move around too much. I reorganized the scene to make it a little bit prettier, but you see the launcher that's in the cloud that thinks it's inside of the clown car is now stuck between all of those one-ways, secured in that spot. When we go up here, because the launcher's head is poking above the semi-solid a little bit, we can crush it and kill it. And this is what tends to happen with the Game Genie tech, when there's an enemy inside of what it thinks to be a clown car and it dies. It just so happens that this time it's a launcher. This is very visually stunning. I really like this glitch. This is like one of the cooler, visually stunning glitches we've done in this channel. And I imagine there's going to be a lot of different Game Genie tech discovered that look really, really good. So as time goes on, we're going to be going over more and more Game Genie tech, especially ones that are a little bit different.